Well, hey, you are looking at the latest federal government welfare recipient. Yep, that would be me. Uh, I'm ashamed to say it, but yes, I am a welfare recipient. I was saying to people back in January when we were going through the federal government shutdown. Normally in our area, a government shutdown affects a lot of people because we're so close to DC. We have the Naval Air Station in our county that employs so many people. This shutdown was different in that defense and most departments had already been funded. It was just a few departments not funded. What was it, 800,000 federal workers that were not being paid. So I was telling people, hey, I don't really care about the shutdown. It doesn't affect me. Well, come to find out, it did affect me in a small way, I guess. The Ag Department was one of those agencies that was shut down. And what I found out before I left on vacation back in January is that the deadline for applying for the assistance program for farmers who were affected by the trade talks with China. That deadline was January 15th to sign up for this program. Well, I did not realize this until the day I was leaving for vacation, January 4th. We were not getting back until the afternoon of the 15th. I said, oh hell, well, the government was shut down. What do I do? So I did send an application for this program via email the day I left for vacation. Sent that application into my local FSA office saying, okay, at least I've got an application in before the date, the deadline. We'll see what happens. If nothing happens, oh well. So yes, I was affected by the government shutdown. Anyhow, the government reopens. They extended the deadline to February 15th. And I am happy, well no, I'm not happy to report. I will report I have received my welfare check. As of yesterday, it was in the bank. So just a little bit of background. Personally, I think the government should be out of agriculture altogether. They should not be supporting farmers. It should be a totally capitalistic system where we make it on our own or we don't. I remember when I started farming after I got out of high school back in the 80s, we were farming for the government is what it amounted to. We had, for instance, a 50-acre farm. We would plant maybe 12 acres of corn on the farm, 14 and a half acres of wheat, maybe 6 acres of barley, and 5 acres of soybeans on this one farm. We were going back to these farms numerous times throughout the year to plant and harvest and take care of all these different crops on the same farm. And it was all about the government money. We were farming for the government. Finally, I said, forget this. I'm going to do it my way. If we get any money from the government, so be it. Ever since then, I've not been a fan of the government programs. But in order for me to stay competitive, I do have to take the government money. It's just the nature of the beast. In order for you to stay competitive with your fellow businessmen, you have to do what they're doing, or you have to do it better. All my other neighbors are taking the government money, so I have to take it as well. So what this latest program is, back last summer when President Trump announced negotiations with China, prices went down in the grain market, and in order to keep farmers on his side, Trump said, hey, we will subsidize you, we will make up the difference in the drop of the grain market. We'll make up that difference, we'll send you a check for whatever that difference is. So they determined, for instance, on soybeans, that difference was $1.65 a bushel. So for every bushel we harvested this past fall, We got $1.65 a bushel from the government to make up for that. Now, I don't think Trump had to do that to keep farmers on his side, because we're smart people and we realize if he can reach the end goal, which is fair trade, we will be okay. And I think we're giving him a chance to do that. And I don't want to make this real political, but from most farmers that I've talked to, that's what is agreed, that, hey, we understand what he's doing. This needs to be done. Let's get these policies implemented, because down the road it will benefit us. So we'll see. So anyhow, I've got my welfare check. I don't care if the government closes down now, because it will not affect me. So like any good welfare recipient, I'm supposed to lay back and do nothing now. But no, that's not the case. I've got to take some straw up to the hardware store, so I'm going to load the truck up here, get some straw up to the hardware store so we can keep on selling. Chance of snow this weekend, so I guess once I do that, I'll probably put the salt spreader and plow on the truck just so we are ready to go. So no, this welfare recipient isn't going to be laying around today. Hey, a shout out to my fans. I had fan mail last month. And when I say fan mail, this is actually mail, physical mail that came to my house. I was quite surprised over that and quite pleased. So a shout out to my fan in Ireland that took the time to write a letter, sent a nice calendar from his hometown. I greatly appreciated that. So yeah, thanks for that fan mail. I come from the generation that I appreciate mail, that somebody took the time to write something out and put it in an envelope and put a stamp on it and send it. That to me means a lot. It's too easy to send an email or a text these days. Birthday cards, hey, happy Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate that holiday. Like most holidays, I don't celebrate. But no, when somebody takes the time to actually go purchase a card and write it out and mail it, that's much nicer than just a text or an email. Okay, too much said with this, just a rant. I'll set you up here. We'll get some straw loaded up, get it up to the hardware store. Okay, let's get it done. Hey, do I fit the welfare profile with the missing tooth? Or is that more like the crack addict profile? I don't know. Anyhow, that should be finished in the next month or so. I'm hoping, anyway. But I know there will be comments from some of you on why did I waste so much time and energy loading the straw like I did. Well, there's two reasons. Number one, this time of the year, I do not get a lot of exercise, not a lot going on, so this gives me some of that physical activity to keep this sexy body the way it is. And the other reason is I've got a gooseneck trailer here in front of the straw, so I cannot back the truck up to the pile, and it is just too darn wet right now. It's not worth taking the time to pull the gooseneck out through all the mud, getting stuck, backing it back in, blah, blah, blah. The other end of the barn, where I could back up to the pile, the mud is even worse, so this is just the way I'm going to do it. I do read all of your comments and suggestions on how to do things, and, you know, some of them I take into consideration, and others I just say, hey, you're not here, you don't know what's going on, but I do appreciate the feedback. So that's why I did it the way I did it. Okay, that's enough of this darn talking and politics and whatever else today, just rambling on, but I've really got nothing else going on. I guess it's home to pay bills and start on the tax return. It's about time to think about it, I guess. So I'm going to take this up and get it unloaded and head back to the office. All right. See ya.